Welcome to the most comprehensive high school sports podcast in upstate New York. My name is Karen Iglesia, co-founder of Primetime 585. In the studio, we got the best producer in the five. We got Julio. We're missing Jake today, but I got Gerard Iglesia, the luckiest man in Section 5. Do you know why he's so lucky? He got me 31 years. Go ahead, Gerard. Say welcome to the...
I got nothing.
You got nothing today?
Wore me down.
I wore you down for 31 years. You're like, I give in. Here's the white towel.
You're the best.
Yes.
I love you. You're the reason I live.
Okay, see? That's all you got to say. You know what I'm saying? Instead of fighting the inevitable, you already know you're married to perfection. Let's get right into this. Gerard, we went and we checked out sectional cheer. Love cheer, love cheer. It is game day cheer season. And game day cheer went down. Let's start with Class A. Shout out to the judges, too. The judges are there all day. Gerard, who won? Give me the top 5 for Class A, Gerard.
Okay, Class A was number 1, Rush Henrietta.
Okay.
Followed by Hilton at 2, 3, Webster Thomas, 4th place, Fairport, and 5th place, Spencerport.
Wow. To me, any of those 5 could have won it.
Yeah.
All 5 were spectacular. Like, I have a lot of respect for the judges because I don't know how they differentiate. Maybe one day we should bring a couple of judges into the podcast. I don't know how they differentiate it, but all 5 of those were amazing, amazing routines.
And I'm sure they were separated by like tenths of a point.
I know. They're amazing. And for Class B, Churchville Chili was the eventual winner. Gates Chili was number 2. Can I just shout out Gates Chili fans? Love their fans. They have the best fans in Section 5, Section 5 cheer. Arcadia, Mercy, and then HFL. Once again, all 5 of these could have won it to me. So shout out to them. And in Class C, George, this is a little bit different, right? Class C had a cheer off. So Aquinas won the C1, Holly won C2. Who was the eventual winner between the C1 and the C2? Aquinas or Holly?
Aquinas.
Yeah.
They
do a cheer off to see who's going to go to the state qualifier.
Right.
So that's how it works. So
hats off. Shout out to Holly. They were amazing.
They were absolutely amazing. So we love giving our cheer girls and boys the attention that they deserve. A lot of people don't cover cheer, but they put a lot of time in. They put a lot of energy. They're athletes just like everyone else. So shout out to all the sectional champions in cheer. So, Gerard, let's get into some field hockey action. This is your new sport. If you would have told me a couple years ago that Gerard Iglesia is a huge field hockey fan, I would have been like, well, but the last couple years, the final's been lit.
Yeah.
Been lit. Talk about it.
Well, this year it was Mendon against Webster Thomas. Mm-hmm. And Mendon was the number 1 seed, I believe.
Yep.
Anyway. They were leading 1-0 on a goal from Caitlin Burwell.
Yep.
But then the lightning, the hail, the rain hit. So after 3 quarters, they had to suspend the game and play it the next day. Mm-hmm. Now, you're thinking all Mendon had to do was hold on. In theory, they had to hold on for 15 minutes and shut them out, which they did.
But
just like football, the game cannot end on a penalty.
Okay.
So they committed a penalty. With 0 seconds left, they got a shot off, and it was Francesca Rao who lifted it over the goalie, as you could just see right there, to send the game into overtime.
We were all stunned.
We were like...
Our face was like, what just happened?
The whole stadium was going crazy.
Yeah.
I mean...
the Mendon fans weren't going crazy. Yeah. They were stunned.
Yeah. So that was great. So they went into overtime. Both teams had chances, just couldn't finish. And then in the second overtime, Ava Rice put the game away with the goal.
She's a top 150 player in the country.
Yeah.
He's going D1 Wagner.
Yeah, and she's had an amazing career. She had 2 game-winning goals in the finals.
In sectionals.
Yeah, during that 3-year run.
Yeah.
And she had 35 goals and 20 assists, 86 career goals for her, which shattered the Mendon record, which was 50.
She's different. She's special.
What a way to end her Section 5 career.
Very. Last year, she was the Primetime 585 News 8 Athlete of the Year for field hockey. The girl is just different, right? She is absolutely different. So congratulations. Now, Gerard, but before we go from field hockey real quick, the Fairport girls, they beat the Penfield girls 1-0. Fairport as a whole, as a program, having a fantastic year this fall. Like we're going to talk about that more, but they're having a fantastic year. But shout out to the Fairport girls. They're also sectional winners, and the interview and the goal, everything is on our social media platform. So congratulations, Fairport. They're also sectional champs in field hockey. Let's get into some boys soccer. Let's start with B, C1, and C2. Let's wrap it all together. Gerard, Class B is the Rivals, who's the 3 seed, versus Hornell, who's the 1 seed. Hornell's been perennially the 1 seed all year, right? The Rivals, both teams are very strong defensive teams, right? Hornell put a lot of pressure on the goalie. They got goals by Demaine Dixon and Achilles Souza, right? And they got the win to move on to the next round. But
it went into overtime because East Rochester with just 2:24 left.
Well, we didn't get to the East Rochester game yet, so that was a Hornell. Okay, that's okay. We're gonna go to that one.
I'm excited.
You're excited about that one. So congratulations to Hornell. They got a 2-1 win. So this is a C1 game he's excited about, y'all. That C1 game was so good. Yeah. Williamson is the 6th seed. East Rochester is the number 1 seed. Talk about this game. This is a game you would probably even die to talk about it, Gerard.
Like I said, it was an overtime thriller. Mm-hmm. It was, because Williamson had lost to East Rochester twice.
Hard to beat a team 3 times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And East Rochester was the number 1 seed. Were they undefeated?
Yeah, coming in.
Undefeated.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And,
Caden Watson
was the number 16.
Yeah, that's tough, right?
Yeah.
So Caden Watson scoring the game winner in the second overtime and Ben Burns setting up that goal. Caden also had the assist to Andrew Petrovsky for that first goal. And they did go on, Williamson did go on to play Naples in the regional qualifiers a couple days ago. Mm-hmm. They did lose to Naples, right? But we just got to shout out Williamson. To win a sectional title as a 6th seed, beating the number 1 seed, that's a huge upset.
And then they had to beat Naples, who's the number 1 team in the state in C1.
No. So Naples, right? That's Class C2. So they didn't beat Naples in the qualifier, right? So Naples played Kendall the next game. Naples was 2, Kendall was 0. But Williamson and Naples played a couple days ago to see about the qualifier. Lost to Naples. Who beat Kendall 2-0.
And I'm just messing
Naples is 18-0-0 right now. So congratulations to Naples. Connor Beatrice with the goal and an assist. This is the 2nd straight year that Naples won sectionals, right? Last year they won as a D, the D class. Mm-hmm. And this year they move up. And they still won the Class C2 championship. So congratulations, Naples. They were the sectional champs. And they also just won the regional qualifier over a very, very good Williamson. Now let's get into some Class A and AA soccer. Class A, Mendon versus Sutherland. As I said before, Mendon and Sutherland could be playing tic-tac-toe, go fish. They could be playing any sport. They could be playing chess. It's always going to be a battle between two of their neighbors. They're friendly rivals, right? But Mendon got the win over Sutherland. It was the worst weather I've ever seen in sports, okay? Like, it was horrible. The wind was sideways and everything.
Oh, yeah.
The booth was...
Look, you can see the rain.
You can see the rain in the videos, right? But Colin Crone found the back of the net with the winning goal. Last year, the Vikings lost by 1 goal in the finals, and they won this year by 1 goal in the finals. They've won 22 sectional championships. Wow. So this is the first time they've won since 2013. Shout out to Mendon and their goalie Cam Esposito to play in those conditions and had a shutout against a very good Sutherland team. So stellar all year. Class AA, Churchville Child Gerard versus Penfield, right? So this one was a Cinderella run for Penfield.
Yeah, but midnight came.
Yes, and Churchville Child got a lot of weapons on that team. Lucas Carriol is one of them. He had the first goal, and Bryce Wolf had the second goal to beat Penfield. So congratulations to Churchill Child. And I just want to shout something out. Churchill Child boys and girls, and we'll talk about that later, won sectionals in soccer also. So shout out. That was a really good thing to see the number 1 seed win the sectional championship. So congratulations. Now, talking about this, let's go into some Spencerport Churchville Child girls soccer. Listen, I've got to tell y'all something, okay? Churchville Child and Spencerport played a game of 2 stellar girls team. Spencerport had 9 consecutive sectional championships coming into this game. Churchville Chili, on the other hand, has not been to this far in almost a decade, since 2 decades, since 2004. Okay? So, but Churchville Chili girls been playing great. Madison Mastronado with the penalty kick to advance Churchville Chili to the state quarterfinals, right?
State qualifier.
Yeah, but I got to tell y'all something. They were both declared co-champions. Mm-hmm. Explain what that means, because people are upset that they are two winners. So talk about the rules in Section 5.
But this is the rules. So, like it or not, they're the rules. When two teams are still tied after two overtimes, they're not going to determine a sectional championship based on penalty kicks.
Right.
That's the rule, like it or not. So,
so they both won. It was tied at the end of regulation and overtime, all of that, right? But when it goes to penalty kicks, Gerard, penalty kicks determine who goes to the state quarterfinals.
Play the Buffalo representative.
Right. So they both are co-champions. I've been arguing online with people. That's just the rules, right? Whether we like it or not, we don't have to agree with it.
Like, we're going to change the rules.
Yeah, they come to me, they think I could change everything. All right. So we just want to first say that. So I want to shout out Coach Elnicky on advancing to the state quarterfinals to see who will move on. However, let's pay respect to Tessa Woods, the Churchville Chili goalie, because she was a wall. Penalty kicks is nothing to play with. You got to give respect to the goalie. She was a wall, not all season, but during this, she was a wall. But I got to, just a real quick about Spencerport. This is their 10th consecutive sectional. Much respect to Leanna Tata. Miss Peacock, I'm going to call Emily Peacock, Miss Peacock, Coach Snyder. The dominance of this team is unreal.
10 years in a row in soccer.
It's unreal. So Leanna Tata, she's played all 4 years. She's played on the varsity team. All 4 years, she's won a sectional block. And she's heading to University of Buffalo, Division I, but we got to shout that out and give respect where respect is due. So congratulations to both Churchville Chili and Spencerport on winning their co-champions. However, Churchville Chili girls, they're moving on to play the Buffalo representative.
Spencerport is moving.
Churchville Chili won the shootout in penalty kick, so they will be moving on.
Spencerport won the sectionals.
Won sectionals, as well. So we now will move on to some Victor versus Webster boys volleyball. Okay, so last night we checked out Victor versus Webster. This was 3 sets, but it was a battle.
Yeah.
It was a battle.
Especially that last game.
That last game, listen, so let's go right to the last game. The last game, actually, Gerard, Victor was up 22-17. They were up 22-17. And a Webster coach called a timeout, reset, and then they just went straight on to win 26-24. So we got to shout that out.
It was actually 24-21.
One at one point. Yeah. They had 3 game points. And Webster, that's just ice water in your veins, knowing how to win. Luke Ferry had 3 aces and 30 assists. Jacob Okren with 8 kills. Freddie Bond with 9 kills. Max Bowers with 19 digs. Owen Barker, 4 blocks, 5 digs, and 8 kills. And Sean Wells, 4 blocks and 4 kills. Congratulations to Webster. They advanced to the next round of sectionals. I love watching them play. Okay, Gerard, we got to go into some football. Listen, did I tell you that East versus Eastridge, last week we said that's going to be a really good game. It's going to be a really good matchup because Eastridge beat them 7-0 the first game.
Right.
We were hyping that game up. East came back and said, oh, okay, we see you're 7-0, but we're a different team than we were the first game of the season.
Very young team and inexperienced.
Listen, Tay Brown led East with 3 touchdowns, 154 rushing yards. Jamie Anderson led the defense with 12 tackles. 4 of those tackles were for a loss. And Tymier Gilbert also had 10 tackles for East. Their defense was ridiculous. Michael Paxson returned a 33-yard interception and a touchdown. They got legacy on the team. They got all these, or legend. They got all these weapons. Very young team. They're heading back to to the Class A2 sectional finals. They play Brockport, who I believe they beat in the regular season.
Yeah, they beat them handily, but we've
different...
seen over and over. Can't take anything for granted.
Can't take anything for granted. So congratulations to East. They are going to the sectional finals this Saturday. They play in the sectional final. So we just wanted to shout that out, but there's a lot of weapons for that team. All right, let's go into Brockport versus Canandaigua, Gerard. Brockport versus Canandaigua. Okay, so this game was covered by Jack Scottney for us, right? Probably the youngest student reporter in Section 5. Okay, so for Canandaigua, Jack Clark had 14 carries for 60 yards plus a touchdown. Peyton Holtby had this nasty one-handed catch, right, and a touchdown. Only a second left on the clock, Gerard. However, talk about Brockport's Wesley Childs real quick. He was on fire with 6 tackles.
And an interception. Yeah.
That part.
He was all over the field.
Ryan Miller also had a touchdown. Aiden Matthews also had a touchdown. He had the first touchdown of the game. They helped send Brockport back to the finals, first time since 2015 for Brockport. They will face East.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good game. As I said, I don't care what happened in the regular season. You can't talk about the regular season, Gerard. When sectionals happens, it's like a reset 0-0.
Yeah.
That's how I look at things. Mm-hmm. Look at McQuaid. We're going to talk about it. The reason why that's a good setup. Look at McQuaid's football right now.
God.
Let's talk about that one.
On fire.
So let's talk about this McQuaid UPrep. I'm going to turn this over to you real quick.
Well,
huge upset. Before you start, what do I always say? I do not bet against Bobby Bates. BB.
Yeah.
Bobby Bates.
Bobby Bates.
Yes.
Billy Bates is the other.
I do not bet against Bob Bates at all. You know why? Because he knows how to coach. He knows how to win, and he's competitive.
I used to say he's a Bill Belichick of Section 5, but nowadays, that sounds like an insult.
The win was McQuaid 21, UPrep 20. Let's talk about this game. The defense held strong in the first until under a minute left, right? In the second quarter, Gavin White scored on a quarterback sneak, making the score 6-0. UPrep was actually up at the half. Mm-hmm. The defense stayed strong in the second half until Ian Lanahan happened. Rushed for his first of 3 touchdowns.
He's having a good season.
We've been saying his name over and over, right? Mm-hmm. So talk about after what happened. 20 seconds, what happened after that?
Right after that, Gavin White, he rushed for a 54-yard touchdown. Gavin's one of the most exciting players, electric players in Section 5. Mm-hmm. All right? And they made the 2-point conversion to make it 14-7. UPrep, they thought they had it, but McQuaid marched down the field, and Ian Lanahan scored it, tying it at 14.
Yep.
So they went into overtime?
No, Kamari Miller led UPrep into the end zone, and UPrep makes an interesting decision. They went for 2 to try to win the game, right? UPrep called a run for Gavin, right? And he ran to the side, and host McQuaid brought it down, and McQuaid players brought him down at the 1-yard line. McQuaid winning 21-20, knocking out a very good UPrep in the first round.
It was a 2 seed. UPrep was the 2 seed.
Yeah.
And McQuaid, 3 weeks ago, everybody in Section 5 was laughing at them.
They were 0-5.
Yeah. Yeah. And they were getting beat pretty handily. But they just got better and better and better.
I don't ever, listen, we'll be talking about football real quick because we got some time. When I look at football towards the end of the season, I always say what you do in practice is what you do in a game. Mm-hmm. Everything that you've learned throughout the entire season, did teams adjust is what we should ask. What it seems like to me is McQuaid took those losses when they were 0-5, and they adjusted. And adjusted. And that's, to me, well, that's what I see. They know that they've made mistakes. Mm-hmm. They took the 0-5 season and they adjusted. And that's how you can tell that some teams that grow as they go. So 0-5, and I said they were 0-6 at one point, or they're 0-5.
It was 0-5, and then won the last 2 regular season games. And
yes.
Then,
now they are going to be playing Pittsford next week. Pittsford versus McQuaid is, Anthony went to McQuaid. They're a little bit of a rivalry team going on between Pittsford and McQuaid.
Yeah.
So look for that to be a good matchup.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Again,
I don't bet against McQuaid.
Again, with Coach Bates, just an extraordinary coach. And that's not to say Isaiah Young from UPenn.
Oh, no.
He's a very good. It's the same as saying, Michael Jordan's the GOAT and LeBron is second. That doesn't make, just because Jordan's the best, in my opinion, which matters more than everybody else. No, just kidding. No, but I'm saying that doesn't make LeBron a terrible coach.
Yep.
He's still a phenomenal coach, as is Isaiah Young.
Yeah. So Isaiah and, they had a really good year. But we just want to congratulate McQuaid. They came out on top. What a game that was. And shout out to Jack Scott. And he got all them and wrote this part of the show. So we should give him production credit or something. All right, so let's go into Gerard's pick. Gerard, let's talk about your pick. Go ahead.
The Aquinas girls soccer team. They did it again for the 10th time.
Yes.
They won the sectional championship. They beat a very good Sutherland team.
Very good.
1-0 on a goal by Jaden Deming. Okay.
That's their 15th title.
Oh, 15th title.
Yeah, that's their 15th title.
15th,
yeah. With 4:48 to go, she shot that golden goal. And, they beat number 2 Pittsford, who's very, very, very good.
Yeah.
But Gerard, I'm worried about them.
Yeah, they're playing Star Point out of Buffalo area, and they're 18-0-0. But Aquinas is good.
They got a good goalie. Briar Hines, we haven't been saying her name enough. She's a wall. She's only a 10th grader. And full transparency, she's a part of a Primetime 585 Youth Council. But man, we have been talking about her. I think that she had multiple shutouts all year. She's a wall in goal. When you win a sectional title, you got to shout out the goalie, especially when the scorer is a shutout. So we got to shout out
defense
and the defense. Oh, absolutely, and they're a very strong defensive team. So that was your pick, and we want to thank you, Scott Hines, for the video. The quality of the video is so good. I'm jealous. You see the quality of the video?
I need a new toy.
You did a new toy. Scott got me in trouble. Here we go. All right. So congratulations to Aquinas girls. That was Gerard's pick. Now my pick. Karen's pick is the Eastridge girls volleyball team. Let me tell you something. Gerard, the reason why I picked the whole team. They're a scrappy team. They're worker bees. They beat Soda yesterday in 3 sets, 25-16, 25-19, and 25-19. Marley Simber had 26 assists, 4 aces, 4 kills, and 5 digs. But they are a team that I want to highlight because they're going against Goliath.
Yeah. Pittsford Sutherland.
Listen, I'm highlighting them now because it's like a David versus Goliath situation that is about to go down. They take on Powerhouse Sutherland. Now, Sutherland got Chloe Kniff. They got Jamie Kotalik. They got Kubler. They got every weapon there is known to man in Section 5, right? They got the Powerhouse, one of the best coaches in Taylor Rivera in Section 5, right? So this is the David of the David and Goliath scenario. And they will take on, so the reason why I picked them is they're 18-2. Their only 2 losses was both to Sutherland, who beat them 3-0, and then they won 1 set against them. So I like the David and Goliath story, and that's why I select them. So congratulations to the Eastridge girls volleyball program. The Lancers are Karen's pick. Love to see it. Now, Gerard, some around Section 5. So when we do around Section 5, we sometimes have some pictures, what we in our coverage around Section 5. That's what the pictures are for. People are like, well, what's the pictures for? It's our journey around Section 5 for the last 6 days. So that's what you're seeing on the screen. But let's talk about some stuff we got 3 minutes to talk about around Section 5. Let's talk about Fairport, Pittsford. Let's talk some football, right? Fairport and Pittsford played this past week, right, Gerard?
Yeah.
And Pittsford, number 3 seed, beat Fairport 24-21. Okay. Brody Pusateri had 2 rushing touchdowns. Eric Chen, 137 yards plus a touchdown. Deshaun Preston and James Kazakos with interceptions. But the reason I wanted to talk about them real quick, because they played McQuaid in the AA semis. So for around Section 5, we want to make sure we shout out Pittsford.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be an interesting matchup between both those teams. Okay, what do you want to talk about as well? Let's talk about Notre Dame Batavia.
Oh, this was a defensive battle. Mm-hmm. Notre Dame Batavia, the 5 seed.
Versus the number 4 seed.
4 seed Attica. Defensive battle. Final score, Notre Dame Batavia 51, Attica 42.
Listen, Chase Antonor rushed for 273 yards. He had 6 touchdowns.
That's crazy.
And got the quarterfinal win. He also passed for an additional 75 yards. We wanted to give him his props because what is going on? Like
6 touchdowns.
6 touchdowns is crazy work.
3 is crazy. 6 is,
yeah. And then Rochester Prep. So let's talk about. So we really didn't cover a lot of independent teams this week.
Mm-hmm.
This year, yeah.
This year.
Although Coach Johnson did, he covered. But Rochester Prep got the 26-24 win over Finney. Zaire Banks Brown had 3 touchdowns. So we want to shout out give some independents they love. Mm-hmm. But the biggest love is going to Bishop Kearney.
Yeah.
Bishop Kearney's 9-0.
9-0, playing an independent schedule.
Yes, they just beat Mid Lakes 28-15. So we just want to shout them out because, as I said, they don't get a lot of love.
Yeah. And let me just say this about the independent.
Mm-hmm.
Some people out here saying, "What's independent? What's the difference?" Independent choose to play an independent schedule, which means they are not qualified to play in the sectional playoff.
I'm glad you explained that because that's very important. But real quick before we wrap up, because we only got like 25 seconds, Brighton versus Irondequoit. I was on the sidelines in the wet, the rain, all of that stuff. 7-6. Brighton will face Webster Schrader this weekend. Bad weather for everybody. Heininger had the touchdown for Brighton. Brighton pulled it out 7-6 over number 1 seed Irondequoit. Brighton was the 4th seed. That's a big upset.
And Penfield with the 3-0 win over Aquinas in football.
And that is the Primetime 585 podcast. I am Karen, and for Julio and Gerard, we are off, baby.
Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 On Demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.